Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Tanya, and today I'm going to do a reaction video for you. So today I'm reacting to the channel Living Simply Australia, and I've reacted to her before in the past, but it's been a while, like quite a long while since I've reacted to her. So she posted this video I saw yesterday. I saw it pop up. It's called 9 Things Australians Secretly Judge You For, Australian Culture. So this one obviously grabbed my attention, you know, because that's going to grab anybody's attention, a title like that. You know what I mean? If you saw a title that said 9 Things Americans Secretly Judge You For, you would maybe click on that too. So I'm just curious. Also, I'm a little jittery today. I think I've had too much caffeine. So if I'm a little jittery, that's why. But I'm still drinking more. Do you guys like bloopers? Because if so, I have a couple of bloopers from this intro that I'm going to add at the end. Which actually I do often, and I just don't say anything about it, and I think that people probably just don't notice them. They don't know that there's the bloopers there.
Australians are famous for being relaxed and easygoing, but that doesn't mean they're not paying attention. There are small unspoken things they'll notice, and sometimes quietly judge you for. They might never say it out loud, but trust me, it's there. And what I'm talking about is not necessarily big culture.
I think that this is honestly just a human nature thing and not like a culture thing for any one culture. I just think people in general have their own internal personal biases or prejudices or quick judgments of a person after seeing them for one moment really quick, you know what I mean? And so if you see somebody passing by, you're gonna notice what they look like, and instantly, whether you're doing it consciously or unconsciously, you're judging them by their height, weight, their clothing choices, their makeup choices, their hairstyle, their facial features. Like people are always judging people, whether they mean to or not. You're always noticing these things, you know. So I just think personally this is a human thing. Now this, what she's gonna say, I don't know if these are gonna go for all people or very specific to only Australians. So
mistakes, and no one's going to stop being friends with you over them. But these are little things that can make you stand out, and not in the right way. And the more you pick up on these cues, the easier it is to blend in and feel at home. Okay, let's start off with the first thing Aussies may judge you for: not saying thank you to drivers. When you're here in Australia, if a driver stops to let you cross the road or lets you merge into traffic, a little wave or a nod is expected. Or if you're driving and someone lets you go, you say,
I think this is also kind of a person-to-person thing, you know? Like if I do something for someone, like hold open the door for them, which I will do every single time I go to a store. It does not matter where I'm at. I hold open the door for the person behind me if there's a person behind me. I will do that every time. And most of the time, I would say I get a thank you. But sometimes I don't get a thank you, and I think it's very rude. It's incredibly rude, actually. Did your parents not teach you manners? It's just common sense, I think.
thanks. This is not legally required, but it's a politeness thing. And not doing it can make you seem as rude, even if you didn't mean to be. And in smaller towns, this is even much more noticeable. And if you do it regularly, people will start to notice and remember. Now, the second thing relates to coffee culture. Australians take coffee very, very seriously. So if you walk into a cafe and order something completely unusual, like a triple caramel iced pumpkin latte in the middle of winter, you might get a polite smile, but behind it, they're thinking this person is a tourist. So here people tend to stick to the basics when it comes to coffee: a latte, a cappuccino, or a long black. And cafes here often specialize in coffee and not in having 40 syrup flavors. If you don't drink coffee, that's fine, but if you do, learning the local style makes you fit in instantly.
So I have said before, I'm not a big coffee person. I do drink coffee on occasion, hot coffee, iced coffee, whatever. I'll drink both. And I do like the kind of fancier ones as a treat to myself, maybe once in a while, or if I'm in the mood for it. But like, if I'm just sitting at a diner and I'm eating breakfast or something, I'm just getting a plain old hot coffee. That's all I'm getting, a plain old hot coffee with cream and sugar. And that's it, cream and sugar. That's what I would say most normal Americans do. And all the fancy stuff is just all a new thing.
I guess it's one of those things that makes you feel like you're in the know. And yeah, 100%, I think some people will definitely judge you for your coffee choice. So much so that big coffee chains like Starbucks or others are not super popular here in Australia. There's nothing wrong with them whatsoever, but here there's a very strong emphasis on coffee culture and specialty coffee.
I mean, Starbucks is losing 400, I think, stores here in the US right now, too. So they're not very popular here either.
Now, another thing that Aussies will judge you for relates to not treating customer service reps well. And this can be someone working at a retail, the waiter, waitress.
I feel like this is also universal.
Or when you go to your medical appointment. Here, there's a strong culture around respecting customer service staff. So if you go to a restaurant, for example, Australians tend to not complain. For example, if the food wasn't great, they tend to not complain about it, or perhaps they don't even send it back. They're not going to make a scene, but they're quietly not going to go back to the restaurant. That's it. Also, if you're at a restaurant and you call people like no, that's not right. That's super rude. Yeah, that's considered rude. And I'm saying this because I've seen people from other cultures, including...
So, like, if you need a refill, like, well, I don't know, if you need a refill or if you need a napkin or you spilled something or, I don't know, you need some salt or something, you can't, if you see your waitress is like 5 feet in front of you, just standing there, you can't kind of go, hey, is that rude to do? Because here, people do it all the time just to get their attention, you know, because they're not, yes, waiters are busy, but they're not always busy. And even if they are, oh my God, Twisty, this video is a disaster. It's a disaster, I'm just saying. The cats just are literally going insane right now. But anyway, the waiters, yes, are busy, but like they're busy because you are also their customer. And so you are there to be waited on. And if you need something, you don't have ketchup, you don't have some sort of sauce, or you don't have a napkin, like whatever, something. Or yes, if your food was cooked very, very wrong, or they brought you the wrong side or something, I don't see a problem with asking the waiter to maybe fix that. And I also don't see a problem with if your waiter is clearly not busy standing in front of you and you kind of wave your hand and say, hey, like real, you know, just a polite little wave. You don't scream anything. I don't see anything wrong with that. I have personally done that myself, although it makes me feel very anxious because I'm an anxious person. So I'll usually ask my husband to do it.
Mine, especially perhaps older people calling the waitress or waiter like this, and it's not nice. It's pretty frowned upon, so don't do it. Yeah, yelling at them or being rude or condescending doesn't come across well. Also, how you treat other people says a lot about you as well.
Duh. You just
now another thing.
Treat others how you want to be treated. I mean, that's the saying that we always heard growing up from our parents. You treat others. I mean, if you had good parents, I suppose. My mom always told me, and my dad, you treat others how you want to be treated. And that's how you do it. And that's what I do. Otherwise, if you treat me like, you know, if you're treating me like the absolute shit, then you're not going to get nice Tanya. It's just, that's not going to happen. Sorry.
Before, and this one sounds a bit counterintuitive if you know a lot about Australian culture, is that they're going to judge you if you wear thongs everywhere. There is an underlying understanding that in the Australian culture itself, it is common to wear thongs to most places. Yeah, it's something that's ingrained culturally, but there are boundaries as well. Yeah, so that doesn't mean that if you go to a wedding, you can wear thongs, or if you go to work in an office, if you go to a nice restaurant, you should wear the appropriate attire and not thongs. There are boundaries that you need to respect, and if you do go to a wedding wearing thongs, I reckon that you're going to be judged for that. Wearing thongs everywhere can make people think that you're not really making an effort.
Okay, so I wear flip-flops, thongs, 24/7. 24/7. So I'm just going to say this right now. Australia, if and when I ever get there, I'm going to be wearing thong flip-flops, just so you know. And it has nothing to do with the fact that, like, anything other than I don't like shoes. I don't like shoes. I don't like my feet being contained. They feel very claustrophobic. My feet feel claustrophobic in shoes. So I wear flip-flops most of the time. When there's snow on the ground, no, I don't wear flip-flops. I have worn, oh, my dog wants in. Did you have fun out there? And I'm not gonna lie, I have worn flip-flops to funerals before. and it's my own personal family, so they aren't going to judge me anyway. I'm not going to wear that to a funeral of, you know, someone outside my family. My family knows me, and my family also has been known to wear jeans and sweatshirts to funerals and weddings too. So we're all a bunch of fucking rednecks here. So it really doesn't matter in my personal family. I know that no one will judge me, and they also understand that I'm not going to be wearing like heels or anything and looking really nice, because I can't wear those. I'm sorry, my dog. Well, now that the dog interrupted, I lost my train of thought because this video has just been a mess, a total mess. I thought it was going to be a nice, quick, very simple, easy video, and it's not turned out to be that. Anyway, like I said, I forgot what I was saying, but we were talking about funerals and heels. I can't wear heels. I can't wear heels because I have scoliosis. It hurts my back way too much. I know that there are flats. People wear flats, and yes, I have, you know, nice black shoes that I can wear and whatever. It's just that, you know, I personally, I like flip-flops is all I'm saying. So Australians, if you see me in Australia and you see that I'm wearing flip-flops, just know that I warned you, okay? And just be okay with it, okay? Okay, thanks.
Now, another thing that Aussies may judge you for, and this one I learned it very recently because I moved to a new house. This is an old unit, and now I'm learning about their rubbish collection system. So let me explain. Australians have a system for putting rubbish bins out for collection, usually once a week for general waste and every 2 weeks for recycling. If you put your bins out too early, like 2 days before, this can be seen as lazy, and leaving them out for days afterwards, that's also going to get you noticed. And I'm realizing that now. Every time that we put our bins out, there's always a few people that leave their bins out there for, I don't know, more than 3-4 days.
Why would you get judged for if you put your bin out early? I don't see the point in putting it out early. I think that's kind of weird, because you want all your garbage to go out, all the garbage that you had. But like, why be judged for it? But I do understand, like, if you see someone with their garbage can, their empty garbage can still out 3 or 4 days later, yes, you're looking at them like, why the hell is your can still out? So yeah, I understand that.
Insane, they just don't collect it, and you naturally think about these people. What's wrong with them? Are they lazy? Aren't they home? Of course, they might have a good reason, but it's interesting how your perception changes
emergencies happen
that.
and things like that.
So yeah, and of course, each bin has the unit number, so you can see who left it behind, right? So I think there's a bit of judgment around that, and I'm guilty of that as well. And another interesting thing is that in many suburbs, neighbors actually help each other with bins, and if they see yours still out, they might roll it back in for you. But if you do it often, meaning if you leave it out for a long time, again, this may become like a silent conversation about that neighbor who never brings her bin in. So yeah, that's another thing, bin etiquette. That's something that really caught my attention, especially now that I live in a unit and now I understand what the deal is. Now, another thing Aussies may judge you for relates to not bringing anything to a barbecue or to a gathering. So if you're invited to someone's house, whether it is for a barbecue or for a get-together, it's almost always expected that you bring something, whether it is a drink, a salad, dessert, or bread rolls. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, but showing up empty-handed feels a bit off. The barbecue culture here and the get-togethers are all about sharing. The host might provide the meat, but guests help fill the table. So it's an easy way to show that you appreciate the invitation, and people will notice if you don't. Yeah, so if you go to a get-together, if you go to a gathering, always ask the host, oh, what can I bring? And even if they say don't bring anything, still bring something. Yeah. Now, speaking of this, there's another factor that Aussies may judge you for, and this is overcomplicating the barbecue. A barbecue here in Australia often involves sausages, burgers, maybe some steaks, plus sides. But if you show up with a 3-course group...
That looks like a American barbecue or cookout. That's what we do. We do burgers, hot dogs, maybe brats, maybe steak or grilled chicken. We do corn on the cob. We do, we also grill some of our sides, on the grill, besides corn on the cob. And, I think that's about it. I mean, that would be a typical American barbecue, just some chips and some potato salad, macaroni salad. I don't know. Baked beans.
Meal that requires instructions and a step-by-step procedure, people might think that you've misunderstood the assignment. And this is not to say that Aussies don't appreciate nice food, because they do, but this talks a bit more about the Aussie culture. The emphasis that they place on a laid-back lifestyle, and the barbecue's charm is that this is a casual atmosphere, a casual get-together. You don't have to overcomplicate it. So if you make it too fancy, it might take away from that relaxed atmosphere.
But also, here in America, it's very informal. So if you are, most people are going to show up without food at like a barbecue, unless people were told ahead of time, hey, everyone coming, please bring a dish. Usually they'll tell you ahead of time, like, everyone, please bring a dish. And that's what we call potluck. And that's how we know when we're supposed to bring a dish. They'll say, everybody, we're having a potluck. And that's code. Well, it's not a code, it's what it's called. But basically, it's code for saying, hey, everyone brings something. But I don't know. If I was invited to dinner at someone's house that I just met or something, I would not bring a dish. That would be very weird for me to bring a dish into a home of someone I don't know. I wouldn't do that, I would do it for like potluck type things.
Another thing Aussies will judge you for, and this is a pretty big one, cutting the line. This is an unspoken rule, but of course it's good
rude.
manners. I like to think
it's
globally,
rude.
But there's a lot of emphasis on that, cutting the line. If you cut the line, if you don't wait for your turn, you're going to get a lot of stares. Perhaps no one will tell you off, but it's considered extremely rude. Yeah.
We will tell you off in America.
Public transport, etc. I talked about this in many other videos, but it's a good reminder again about public transport etiquette, or etiquette and basic social norms in public spaces. Another thing Aussies will judge you for, if you brag about how much money you have, about anything that conveys status. People here tend to be pretty simple, and if they are people who are actually in a very good financial position, no one is going to really brag about it, yeah? You can talk about money, but not about how much you earn.
There's a lot of Americans look down on the people that brag about being rich and all the money that they have and all the things that they can buy, and they show all the stuff that they buy, and they say, look at this fancy purse, and look at this fancy car, and look at this fancy vacation and this yacht that I bought. And no one gives a shit that you bought all that shit. Like, no one cares.
you're with close friends and you're talking about your finances and you want financial advice, etc., we do discuss money a lot with my friends, but it's not about bragging or look at how much money I made or wearing fancy clothes or a fancy car. Yeah, people again really value a casual lifestyle, so behaving in an arrogant or cocky way is very much frowned upon. And people here really value humility, that is being humble, and again, not showing.
I don't care if I was a billionaire, I'd still be wearing this cheap ass t-shirt. You know, like I would, you would not see me in fancy clothing and fancy things. You know, I would not be doing anything of the sort. No, thank you.
So again, these little things are not going to ruin your friendships, but they do shape first impressions. So picking up on them is part of the process of learning how life works here. And once you get them, that's going to make it so much easier for you to fit in. So what would you include in this list? Let me know in the comments below, especially if you've been living here for a while. And if you want to watch more videos about Australian culture and learn how life works here, I highly recommend watching these videos here and here.
That was a cute video. Yeah, I thought maybe a lot of what she was going to say was going to be things that were more universal and that a lot of us could relate to. And that was the case. You know, I think that most of the things that she was talking about were things that a lot of us can relate to, being, you know, seen as rude or whatever. And then there was a couple in there that she threw in there that were kind of like, I don't know if I can personally relate to that one. Oh, Twisty, would you get off of there? But it was a fun video to watch. I really enjoyed watching it. And I enjoy watching her. But that's going to do it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to stay till the end for the bloopers. Hit like if you enjoyed it. Hit subscribe if you haven't done that yet. And I'll see you next time. No, you're not going on top of the camera thing. Are you kidding me? What are you doing? Can you go somewhere? Can you make a decision? Thank you. Okay. You gonna lay down or what are you gonna do? Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. But still, it was a fun video to do, and I... Okay, Twisty. But anyway, people here are... or what was I saying? Australia, if you see me in Australia, or Australians, if you...